Hello everyone, this is the 5-minute reviewer, and today I'm going to review a game from 10 years ago, Banner Saga 1. Now, Banner Saga is made by an independent studio called Stoic, which was founded by the former employees of BioWare. But that's another story in itself. Maybe I'll cover the interesting part about it in another 5-minute video. But for today, I just want to focus about Banner Saga 1. Is it worth playing? Is it fun? Let's begin. So right off the bat, I want to talk about presentation. Now, as you can see from the dialogue cutscenes, it's a 2D game, very much inspired by the art style of Cinderella or the older classic Disney movies. And the art style is a good choice for indie studio because it is timeless and you don't have to worry about the future graphical upgrades, whether this game will become suddenly hard to play or hard to look at because it looks obsolete. And this art style carries over to the combat. And it is very good because it feels like I'm playing a game at peak Western animation, not like the new animation I see from Velma or even X-Men 97 where it looks very dated. This feels like it was made by animators from Disney of the past. Next, I want to talk about sound. Now, Banner Saga has a very good orchestra playing in the background, so you're never bored with the music, and I quite like the soundtrack to this game. However, if you're looking for a game with lots of voiceover, I'm afraid you won't find any. Other than simple key events or the start of the game, there isn't a lot of voiceovers, and a lot of story is presented by reading the text. Now, I want to talk in an area where Banner Saga really shines, and that is the story. Of course, I shouldn't be surprised because this was made by the former employees of BioWare, which was famous for storytelling. Now, I'm afraid that doing this 5-minute review, I won't be able to summarize the story enough to do it justice, but I'll try to give you a gist of it. Basically, in this fantasy world inspired by Norse mythology or the Vikings, you play as groups of refugees who are experiencing an eternal winter. Now, the reason given for this eternal winter is that the gods are dead, and therefore the sun cannot go up into the sky again. Thus, with dwindling resources, the races of men and giant-like creatures called Val have to fight over what remains of the resources. To make things worse, armored-like monsters called the Dredge are invading human and Val lands. And of course, let's not forget the political intrigue and drama that comes with taking the leadership of being the caravan leader. Most of the story is seen through the eyes of certain characters, such as a human caravan leader called Rook and his daughter Alette, and their Val companion Ivor. In another caravan, the main story is told through the eyes of a Val called Hakon. And this leads on nicely to the gameplay. The gameplay in combat sequences are turn-based, but unlike games like Fire Emblem, you don't move all your characters and then the opponent moves all their characters. What you do is something more like chess. You move a character and then your opponent moves his character. Furthermore, the gameplay is very challenging because most of the time you are leading groups of refugees into combat. So you don't feel overpowered and you feel very challenged when fighting. This idea of being a refugee army is further supported by how the game presents your stats of the characters. Now, compared to Japanese RPG or other modern RPGs where there are a lot of numbers to look at, there's actually not a lot of numbers to look at here, and all your characters only can carry a maximum of one item. Out of combat, you have to manage one resource that your caravan needs a lot, and that is called Renown. Renown is used to buy items, buy supplies so your caravan can last longer, and also to upgrade your soldiers. Failure to gather enough renown will result in your morale dropping and will make it even harder for you to win combat situations. And bear in mind that the combat is already hard in itself. And what adds to the complexity is that some of your characters may die and lose all their upgrades with them. And this death can result in combat situations or out of combat situations in which you make story decisions that cause their death or cause them to leave the party. So all in all, what do I give Banner Saga? So, because of its great story, fantastic music, and challenging gameplay, I give it a perfect 10 out of 10. It is a perfect game for people who enjoy strategy and resource management games like myself. If I do have one complaint, is that the camera remains fixed during combat and I cannot rotate the camera to have a better view of the position of my units and the enemy units. And this is a problem that persists throughout Banner Saga 2 and 3 as part of the trilogy. So I'll review the other 2 games in the trilogy at a later date, but I hope you guys enjoyed the review and have a pleasant week ahead. Take care everyone!